Displaying channel logo, sir. Launching introduction sequence.
Iron Man. The unlikely superhero success that launched the Marvel Cinematic Universe and relaunched the career of Robert Downey Jr. With Spider-Man Homecoming swinging into theaters, bringing another Tony Stark adventure along with it, we thought it would be appropriate to revisit the locations from the film that started it all. This is Iron Man, where it was made. Jarvis, initiate title sequence.
Initiating title sequence, sir.
So standing at Point Dume in Malibu Beach, California, you may recognize this as the spot that Tony Stark chooses to build his house. You may also notice that there is no actual house there. That was a CGI creation that was added.
Good morning. It's 7 a.m. The weather in Malibu is 72 degrees with scattered clouds. The surf conditions are fair with waist to shoulder high lines. High tide will be at 10:52 a.m.
Tony Stark's incredible home is located at 10880 Malibu Point, 90265. This spot, Point Dume, is Long Bluff, which forms the northern end of the Santa Monica Bay. Jon Favreau chose to shoot the film in California because he felt that too many superhero films were set on the East Coast, especially New York City. This cliffside region began as a whaling area. It's known for its views of the oceans and the mountains, and has always been popular among the Hollywood elite. In fact, Vincent Price liked the spot so much that his ashes were scattered here in 1993. You may also recognize this beach as the spot where they discovered the Statue of Liberty in Planet of the Apes. Tony's house was partially based on the architecture of the buildings around Point Dume. This house is also where we see Tony Stark design and build his suits. Because of this, when designing the house, the guideline the designers were given was to make it more Grease Monkey than futuristic, in order to keep the film realistic to an inventor. They took inspiration from the photographs of Julius Shulman, who is noted for his photographs of 1950s and 1960s Los Angeles architecture. Tony's home is also memorable for the post-credits sequence that set the Marvel Cinematic Universe into motion.
I am Iron Man. You think you're the only superhero in the world? Mr. Stark, you've become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet.
Who the hell are you?
Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh.
I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
So I'm standing in front of the Walt Disney Concert Hall, where Tony Stark has to crash his own charity gala. This is also the place where he almost has a romantic moment with Pepper and begins to realize the extent of Obadiah's betrayal. In the film, we see Tony Stark pull up in his Audi to a flashy gala event at the Walt Disney Concert Hall. Designed by artist Frank Gehry, the Walt Disney Concert Hall is an internationally recognized architectural landmark and one of the most acoustically sophisticated concert halls in the world. Known for its numerous steel curves, the hall is home to the LA Philharmonic. Located in the heart of downtown Los Angeles, the hall opened in 2003 and was made possible by a $50 million grant from Lillian Disney, Walt's widow. In the end, the concert hall ended up costing $274 million.
Tony, you remember me?
Sure don't. Look great, Hef. Great quarter. What's the world coming to when a guy's got to crash his own party? Hey, what a surprise. Yeah, I'll see you inside. How about a little air?
Yes, I need some air.
Tony Stark and Pepper almost share a romantic moment on the concert hall's balcony. Pepper is played by Gwyneth Paltrow, who took the role to be close to her children. For scenes such as this, Robert Downey Jr. had to stand on an apple box to match her height. I know the feeling, Robert.
Let's take a picture, come on. Picture time! Hey, who do you think locked you out? I was the one who filed the injunction against you. It's the only way I could protect you. No, Mother.
Iron Man, of course, had his origins in the comic book shops. Iron Man's Marvel Comics premiere was in March 1963 in Tales of Suspense, issue number 39. In this comic, his transformation into a superhero began with a severe injury sustained in the Vietnam War. When it was time to bring Tony Stark to the big screen, his origins were given an update and changed to modern-day Afghanistan. This, of course, is where he builds the Mark I armor in a cave. Let's rewind to the start of the film and go to the mountainous terrain that stands in for Afghanistan.
Is it better to be feared or respected? And I say, is it too much to ask for both? They say the best weapon is one you never have to fire. I respectfully disagree. I prefer the weapon you only have to fire once. That's how Dad did it, that's how America does it, and it's worked out pretty well so far. For your consideration, the Jericho.
Standing in for the Middle East, Tony Stark's missile test and subsequent capture was filmed in an area known as Alabama Hills in Lone Pine, California, about 3 hours outside of Los Angeles. Though geographically separate from the Sierra Nevada, they are part of the same geological formation. The hills are a Hollywood favorite. Since the early 20s, 150 movies and about a dozen television shows have been filmed here, from The Lone Ranger and How the West Was Won, to more recent films like Gladiator, Tremors, and Transformers. After Tony is rescued by Rhodey in the military, they transport him to Edwards Air Force Base. Located in Lancaster, California, Edwards is the home of the Air Force Test Center. It also operates the U.S. Air Force Test Pilot School and is home to NASA's Armstrong Flight Research Center. Notable occurrences at Edwards include Chuck Yeager's flight that broke the sound barrier and the 1986 around-the-world flight of the Voyager. The highly classified detachment of Edwards is what's commonly known as Area 51. In the film, this is where we begin to see the transformation of Tony Stark. According to director Jon Favreau, Clive Owen, Tom Cruise, and Sam Rockwell were among the actors considered for Tony Stark during pre-production. Rockwell, of course, would go on to play Tony Stark's rival Justin Hammer in Iron Man 2. Jon Favreau wanted Robert Downey Jr. because he felt the actor's past was right for the part. He commented, "The best and the worst moments of Robert's life have been in the public eye. He had to find an inner balance to overcome obstacles that went far beyond his career. That's Tony Stark." Favreau also felt that Downey could make Stark a, quote, likable asshole, but also depict an authentic emotional journey once he won over the audience. Having escaped Afghanistan by way of his latest technological triumph, it's time for Tony Stark to build some suits. And of course, once you have those, you gotta take them out for a test drive.
Yeah, I can fly.
While often a CGI creation, the practical suits were built by effects legend Stan Winston. Iron Man would sadly be the last film he ever completed. All said and done, roughly 450 separate pieces made up the Iron Man suit. So I'm here at the famous Santa Monica Pier. Behind me you see the Ferris wheel that Tony Stark flies over the first time he tests his suit out. When Tony Stark flies over Santa Monica, he passes over the 100-year-old pier and subsequent amusement park, which features the iconic solar-powered Ferris wheel. The Santa Monica Pier is two adjoining piers that had separate owners through history. short, while adjoining Pleasure Pier, as it's called, was built in 1916 by amusement park pioneers. It's since been a place of fun, only suffering major hits during the Great Depression and when a winter storm wiped out one-third of the pier in 1983. And lastly, we come to Stark Industries itself, home not only to the final battle between Tony and Obadiah, but also to two very important press conferences. In the first conference here, Tony can be seen eating a Burger King burger.
Would it be alright if everyone sat down?
This is based off a real chapter in Robert Downey Jr.'s transformation. In an interview with Empire magazine, Robert Downey Jr. thanked Burger King for helping him get straight. In 2003, with a car full of drugs, he had a burger that was so disgusting it made him rethink his life and dumped the drugs in the ocean. This theme is repeated as we see Stark beginning to change his life while holding a burger.
Effective immediately, I am shutting down the weapons manufacturer division of Stark International.
The building itself is the headquarters of Nikon, a health company born in Japan and currently located in Irvine, California. The final battle between Tony and Obadiah takes place on the highway outside the building. Before Obadiah was chosen as the film's villain Ironmonger, the Mandarin was considered, and even Tony Stark's father, Howard Stark, in a War Machine suit. And of course, the Stark Industries headquarters is home to Tony Stark's infamous reveal.
The truth is, I am Iron Man.
So that'll do it for this episode Where It Was Made. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll see you at the movies. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to fly.
Launching credits, sir. Post-credits YouTube links. Good day.